Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me here. I am so excited to share this the series of three videos with you. As you know, my name is Shri Melet, and we have shared some interviews together. The first teleseminar series that I did was called Banish Stress, Boost Happiness. It was aimed primarily towards adults and just learning different techniques, methods, learning about stress and all of that. And the second series, I walked a little bit more into what is really a passion in my life, which is to raise a generation of stress-proof kids. So this video series has come up as a result of what we learned in those interviews, and also it's been a kind of a mingling of what I've been learning through my blog as I have walked this journey. I've walked this journey for like all of us for quite some time. But the writing of my blog has been very useful for me because it's helped me clarify where this journey is taking me and what are the big lessons that I'm learning, and the what am I becoming? I'm becoming more and more conscious of the fact that as we become stressed, and particularly as we have the critics, both inner and outer, coming at us, and the outer critics are only there because there is the inner critic. So what I've begun to recognize very, very clearly is that when that critic is acting up, we are fracturing our energy. We are going from this possibility of unified, grounded, centered energy that has access to the enormous power that we have within ourselves, to fragmented energies, and we have these bits of energy that different people call it different names, and for me it's become really useful to talk about it as pieces of my energy that are stuck in different parts of me, and the work of our lifetime is to bring that together and to sort of rest in this spaciousness of a fully cohesive, unfragmented, powerful self that we all have the capability of being. So, to tell you a little bit about myself, I was the youngest child I grew up in India. I grew up in Bombay, Mumbai, as people now call it. I was the only daughter of three children and the youngest, and was very close to my mother. She was, the more I think about it now, the more I realize how apart from her generation she was. Actually, she was very well read. She had a great love for poetry. She was open to discussions that many mothers of her generation would have been terrified of. And for example, one of the things that I had told her was that I didn't want an arranged marriage, and that I believed that there was somebody out there for me, and I wanted to find him myself. And thinking back now, I am surprised that she was even able to keep a straight face and not freak out when I even first said that to her. But she didn't. She just nodded. She let me speak. She heard me. So she was that person in my life. And then when I was 19, she died. She died in a plane crash. And as you can see, it's still, there is still some sense of loss. So that was the first time, though, when I was, just becoming an adult and had not got all my wits around me. I was trying to figure out, did I believe in God? Did I not believe in God? What was the meaning of this crisis? Why did this happen to me? Why am I not the majority where such things don't happen to people? Those were all the kinds of things that were going through my head. And at the same time, I also had to take on the responsibility of a household came upon me, because my father was traveling a lot. My oldest brother had just gotten married, and there was a new young. We all lived together, and a bride in the house, and my other brother was an alcoholic. And so there was a lot of stuff going around that I needed to work through, and it was difficult to do that without a strong sense of who I was and where my power was coming from, and who I could turn to in order to find answers. So I remember this very, very clearly. I just got so tired of it. I got so tired of the constant back and forth in my head about do I believe, don't I believe, should I believe, shouldn't I believe. And I just stood in the middle of one of the busiest streets, on the sidewalks of one of the busiest streets in Bombay, and spoke to Krishna, who was the person I felt was the deity, Hindu deity that I felt most connected to, even though I was questioning, the actual presence and power of God. And I said, forget it, I'm tired. I'm willing to believe and live as if I believe. And let's see where that takes me. So that was nearly 40 years ago now. And it has been an amazing journey. And every year that I have lived has brought me closer and closer to this really deep connection. And you can call it anything you want. It is the knowledge that I have the power within me to shape my life and to respond to my life in the way that I want. And I am not a victim. I am not a victim. I own my life. I have the power. And more than that, actually, it's been just over the last couple of years that I've begun to realize more and more how much of my time I am spending critiquing myself, and how much of the time I'm spending feeling bad about one thing or the other that I didn't do quite right, that I didn't I was not good enough to do. And so there's always this question mark And what's happened, what's good about it, is that I've become more and more aware of the fact that there is this question mark within me all the time about, am I good enough? And I'm learning how to respond with, yes, I am good enough. Damn it, I am not only good enough, I am amazing. And that's what I've learned. And one of the things that has helped me to get closer and closer to that space is a lot of the writing that I've done. I've been doing meditative writing. I have started a blog through which I'm exploring one of the one of the scriptures in Hinduism, and trying to figure out how it applies to my life. And as I have done that, it has become clearer and clearer to me how, as I started off in the beginning, how I fragment myself into, the good parts of me and the bad parts of me, and I don't want to see many people call it the shadow, and I'm sort of not wanting to face that shadow and acknowledge the shadow. And so there's these two disparate parts of me, and so I'm not empowered because there is no cohesiveness in my own energy. So I have I have learned how to, through meditation, through meditative writing, through conversations with my highest self, my inner wiser self, and you could call that source, you could call that God, you could call, we all have an enormous accessible power within us, and what I'm learning to do is what I have learned actually, and getting better at doing, is recognizing when my energy is fragmented, and learning what are the ways, what are the methods that I can use to bring me back to center. Not only bring me back to center, but to bring all of these in quotes good and bad parts of me, and embrace them all and be okay, and know that I'm okay. And one of the things that has happened as a result of that is that I have become aware. I have become much more forgiving, much less of a perfectionist, and so what I am so excited about is that I have a lot to share with you, and as we go through this 3-part video series, what I'm hoping that you'll get out of it is this understanding of learning to recognize that your energy is fragmented, using some of the methods that I will share with you in the next video to bring yourself back into cohesiveness, into your center, and most importantly, for those of you who joined me and who heard the interviews about raising stress-proofed kids, how am I why did I come up with this after the stress-proofed kids teleseminar series? Because that's the biggest lesson, the biggest example we can demonstrate to our children, right? Every interview in the series told us about how important it was for us to be, in quote, stress-proof in order for our children to be stress-proofed. So, and the other message that was often there was how what we are seeing is a reflection. So the life that we experience is often a reflection of our inner space, and it's mirroring back to us. So whichever interpretation you want to take of those, or I love both of them. The idea is that once we learn complete unmitigated self-love and self-acceptance and forgiveness. So for me, self-acceptance means not only self-love, but an allowing of all of you. There is no part of you that needs to be rejected or not looked at. Every part of you is exactly as it should be. And to come into that realization and to stand in the power of knowing that you are okay, that I am okay, that we are perfect just as we are, and that every time there is a crisis, we know how to move from the state of fragmentation to the state of cohesion and unity, and to be able to be an example to our children and those around us. To do that is what I hope you'll get out of this series. So thank you once again for being here with me. You'll be getting the second video in this series very, very soon. And please write to me and let me know what you think about this. I'm really excited that you're with me on this journey. Thank you so much.